Yes.
Good evening, MMPS families, and thank you for joining us. Tonight, our session is called Get Help Now, and our hope is that we can provide you with information and empowerment to be successful during this time of virtual learning. I want to start with a few introductions of the voices and faces you'll be hearing from tonight. First, my name is Mariana Merritt, and I'm the coordinator of family engagement. In just a bit, you'll hear from Jason Beeler and Brad Parnell, who will explain our learning platforms and the websites that we're asking students and families to utilize during this time. Then we'll hear from Lynn Ratliff and Derek Williams, who will help us better understand attendance and student behavior during virtual learning. So as we begin all of our student and staff sessions, we'd like to open with a welcoming ritual. During these complicated times, let's spend a few moments focusing on the positives. What are the good things in your child's or family's life that we can celebrate? Please click Ask a Question to type your response in the box. We want to hear all of your celebrations, from small, for example, if your child learned how to ride a bicycle recently, to maybe larger, for example, if your child learned how to drive a car. Please take just a few moments to type in your response so we can know your celebrations. Also, while you're typing, I want to acknowledge and appreciate that we have several interpreters on the call tonight. For our families who speak Arabic or Spanish, we want to make sure that they're aware of this service. As you're typing, I'm going to invite our interpreters to make an announcement to those families.
Buenas noches a todos los padres de las escuelas metropolitanas. Les damos la bienvenida esta noche a esta reunión. Varios presentadores estarán dándoles ciertos detalles o consejos de qué hacer para contribuir con lo que es la educación a distancia. Si tienen alguna pregunta, la van a poder colocar en las casillas que está a la derecha y ahí le estaré contestando. Gracias.
مرحبا أعزائنا الأسر، أنا عبد الستار الركاني من مدارس ناشفيل. نرحب بكم اليوم في مناسبتنا هذه. الرجاء منكم إن كان لديكم أي سؤال أن تكتبوا السؤال على المكان المخصص لطرح الأسئلة، وهذه المناسبة ستكون حول كيفية الحصول على المساعدة فيما يتعلق بالتكنولوجيا. شكرا لكم.
Thank you to our amazing interpreters. What a beautiful opportunity to celebrate some of the diversity of language spoken in MMPS. Now I'm going to ask our chat monitors to report out just a few of the celebrations that our families have typed in.
We have one celebration of a new baby sister. One young lady celebrated figuring a difficult piano piece. And we have one parent that says they're celebrating their daughter's love of virtual school.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you all. It is important to celebrate the positives, and we appreciate this opportunity to share those celebrations with your family. Great. As we continue on, now that we're comfortable getting in the chat box, we ask you to please share with us what are the topics that you are needing help with. Please enter what questions you may have related to virtual learning, to our current school experience. If you see a question that someone else has typed that you're also wondering, please go ahead and give that question a thumbs up. That'll help our moderators identify that that's a question that many families have. We'll wait a few moments for you to type in your questions here. Please continue typing. It's important for us that we understand What are the things that our families still need some help understanding or knowing how to navigate? For the rest of our time, we are going to move into our presentation. We have a lineup of wonderful MMPS staff who are ready to share information with us, but we will be monitoring the questions, so keep writing in the chat box. And towards the end of the presentation, we'll circle back to make sure that all of your questions have been answered. Now I'd like to invite my colleague, Jason Beeler, to help us better understand our learning platforms. Jason?
Thank you, Mariana. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for attending/catching this live event. And just know, my background real quickly is just, I'm a longtime teacher in Metro Nashville. I've taught 14 years, 12 at Antioch High School, and absolutely just loved my experience as a teacher working with students, just an incredibly diverse group of students, all facing different challenges. And I think we're all facing a real challenge today. So as we go through this presentation, if you know people, if you have friends, additional family members who are just stuck or need a little help, please pass that information on to them, as whatever you can take away today. I've also served as an instructional designer for about 8 years in the learning technology department. So I sort of help teachers with technology. And so in this crisis, we've had to rely on technology more than ever before. And there really are some surprising benefits. And so one of the things we want to make sure that you know is, what are these technology tools? How do you get into them? And what do they actually provide for you as students and parents? So the first one I'm going to touch base on here is Schoology. And Schoology is our learning management system. Students from K to 12 have all of their courses in Schoology. It's basically the learning space for teachers and students, and also now parents. Assignments, assessments/tests, and all grades minus the final report card grades will actually reside in Schoology this year. This is a new development. In the past, we had grades in Infinite Campus throughout the marking period. This year, if you want to see progress for your student grades, you actually have to get into Schoology. Now, your final grade will show up in Infinite Campus, but the beauty of Schoology, as I'll share in just a minute, is you have a window into your students' classroom. So again, these are the K-12 students. Pre-K we'll talk about a little separately. That window lets you see into the course. It lets you message your teacher. It lets you see some of the feedback and grades that your student is accruing. And so one of the cool things is that you can really have a back and forth communication and get a good update on progress. Now, we're all learning, and our teachers are still learning as well. So, please have patience. But let's go through the rest of the platforms real quickly, and then I'm going to show you kind of model Schoology. So Schoology is the space for those assignments. Microsoft Teams, we're actually in a Microsoft Teams live event, so we're able to hold these big public events to get information out to the public, which is it's really been a great tool for us so far. This is the tool that teachers are using with students to have those real live time asynchronous class meetings. So this is sort of taking the place of our classrooms right now. When our teachers, they create meeting invites, students join, and that's where they have that more sort of real old school back and forth the way we're kind of used to. So it's been really important for students and for teachers to be able to connect. Teams is all about those synchronous live class meetings. And again, we're going to talk about how to get help if you're having problems with Schoology or Teams as well. Teams is for those live class meetings. Now, Infinite Campus, many of you may be familiar with Infinite Campus. If you're new to the district though, or aren't that familiar with it, Infinite Campus is our student information system. And Infinite Campus houses all student schedules. That's where our official attendance goes. That's where our final report card grades will also end up. And Infinite Campus, there's one really important piece to Infinite Campus that we want to make sure families know more about. And that's if you provide up-to-date information to your school, then it's going to make it easier for you to get the information that the district's publishing on a regular basis. Your school will also be able to get in touch with you much easier. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as we move on. Now, the last one here is Flipgrid. And I got to say, as an educator, Flipgrid is really a fantastic tool. It's a super fun asynchronous tool, which basically is a video tool. It allows teachers and students to interact and do a lot of different things back and forth. And right now, our pre-K students are using Flipgrid as their main source in terms of back and forth with their teachers. So Flipgrid's also a tool you might see in a K-12 classroom as well. It's a fantastic tool. It's very engaging for students and pretty easy to use for both teachers and students. Now, what we're going to do next is Schoology. I already caught a few of the questions coming into the chat, and Schoology is a hot button, and Schoology, guys, is really the home base. So I'm going to share my screen, and one of the things that we're actually going to do is, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and, sorry guys, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. One of the things that we're going to actually talk about is, what do you see in Schoology? What is Schoology all about? So you're seeing my sort of live screen, and I'm in as the teacher right now, right? So I'm coming in and I can see I have my courses here, and as a teacher, when I go to my course, teachers are typically making easy to navigate course icons. They're putting information in here so you and your students can get to the right class at the right time. When you click on a class, I'm in as the teacher right now. This is sort of my space to work with my students. And while I control this, and this is how teachers can create lessons and provide that information for you, let's take a little look at what it would look like for a parent. Now, I'll talk about how you get into Schoology in just a second, but let's just take a look at what it looks like. I'm going to first start with a student. Okay, so I'm switching roles, and now I'm in as an actual a test student. His name's MNPS student. So you can see I'm coming in. It looks like this is one of my class. This is my class here. It says, don't forget our synchronous meeting class days and times. So there's a recent activity feed. There's an upcoming events feed for my students. So as a student, I know, boy, it looks like I have, this is a test, it says, and it's coming up on Friday. There are a couple of assignments here as well that I might want to take a look at. So I'm going to go as the student. I'm going to go to my math course here. I get in, I see a nice welcome back to school message. Again, I get some reminders that there's some things that, there's some due dates on some things that I might need to do. And as a student, I can come in and start to click and look at what it is that I have to do. Now, your teachers are going to be putting in all sorts. This is where they're going to put the information for students to join the live class meetings, links to the Microsoft Team meetings. There will be discussions. There could be, I'll go ahead and navigate in here. There could be a couple of different types of blocks in here. And your teachers, I think the most important thing we can tell you is that if you're struggling as a parent, or if your student is struggling to navigate this, then it's really important to contact your teacher, to talk to your teacher and ask clarifying questions so that you understand what's due and what to turn in, because teachers are pretty new to this too. So we're all learning together. So I think increased communication is more important than ever before. So I'm in as the student, and now I'm going to switch roles. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to log in now as that student's parent. So this student has submitted some work, taken a test, and now I'm going to go in as the parent, and I want you to see what I see. And this is really one of the exciting parts. The other thing I want to tell you is I'm an MNPS parent as well. Okay, I've had 2 kids come through Metro schools. One just graduated a year ago from Nashville School of the Arts, and then I've got my daughter currently in 4th grade elementary. And the thing I think that's interesting, even as a parent, you know, we're learning as parents. So we feel the challenges and the stress. I mean, I do technology all the time, and just know that you're not alone in trying to figure this out. So we're, again, here to help. So I'm going to go in, let me log in as a parent here. I'm grabbing my sort of credentials. Give me 1 sec. Here we go. I've got a real original parent name, MNPS Schoology parent, and I'm going to go in to grab my password. So now I'm logging in as a parent. Again, we're going to talk to you about how you get in officially. So when you log in as a parent, we do have a video that shows exactly what I'm doing right now, but we're going to go ahead and model this real quickly. Right away, when I log in, it says I'm viewing as my student. MNPS student is my student, my child, okay? You have your own account, and if you click on your own account, you're going to see just basic information. There's not that much there from the parent perspective, but when you click on your student, you get to get information. So you can see there are several courses here, and there's even a grade, and this grade looks really low, right? Like this looks like, why is that so low? That's an alarming thing to me right away. I also see there's some recent grades. So if I click on these, it'll actually take me right to those things. In this case, I'm going to jump in and I want to look at this class. So right away, I can see some of the same information. Now, as a parent, I'm not going to see any other students' information, names, or pictures. So this is all secure, set to only see my students, my children's information. So I'm going to come in and I can take a look at, I'm just going to go ahead and go to grades. So this is a great place to look to see if there's anything that's being graded currently in the student's class. And it looks like there's here we go. Here's an assignment. It looks like if I click on this, what happens? So I go into it, and I can sort of see that here's an assignment that my students submitted. And this is really, really cool. I think this is one of the things that really can help as a parent. If you're struggling, always ask your teacher. But in here, it looks like this is my student's homework. So it looks like my student turned this in, and my student said, hey, we're learning about place value. Place value is something we learned about in 3rd grade also. I need some help. That's what my student said to this teacher. And so the teacher put some feedback and gave some feedback to the student. It says, thanks for the reflection. We're going to review place value next class period. Let me know if you have any questions. So, you know, the other really cool thing about Schoology is there are opportunities for teachers and for you to provide video messages at times. So here's a video message. It looks like that the teacher put, and great reflection. Thanks for letting me know a lot of students are having a hard time with place value, so we're going to review it in our next class meeting. Take care. So you can kind of see that there are lots of ways for parents and teachers to sort of communicate here. If I need to contact my, if I sort of need to come in and I want to make a contact with my teacher, then, sorry, my computer's going a little slow. If I click on and if I click on the teachers in the members area, there's a message area. So I can quickly come in and I could type in a quick question. And I could go ahead and write my message here. Okay, so I can put whatever I would put in here. I could upload a file. I could attach a link. It's a quick way for me to send a message to my parent, and my parent's going to get a my teacher's going to get a notification that I sent them a message, and they'll be able to communicate back with me. So just as a parent, getting in here, being able to see what actually students have, not having to log in as them, which we again don't suggest. You're able to see sort of what's going on and get to some of the information that's going to be really important to you. So that's sort of what it looks like. If you have more than one child in metro schools, then in a second, again, we're going to talk a little bit about, sorry, I switched, lost my screen. Give me one sec. Sorry, guys, that's my fault. There we go. I'm back at it. So back in, so here I am back here. The big picture is this is your home base. Schoology is going to be the place where your assignments, grades, and all the content are. So definitely get connected with your school and your teachers. How do I get a parent access code? How do I create an account for Schoology? I'm going to show you where to go to get that information after this event. But the first thing you need to know is your teacher, one of your students' teachers will provide you with a parent access code. And when you get that parent access code, you're actually going to go to app.schoology.com. And again, we have this information published on the website. I'm just going to show it real quick and then we'll switch gears. That sign up page is here. So you can see when you go to app.schoology.com, there's a sign up and there's a parent sign up. So when you click on it, actually I'm already logged in as a parent, so it took me right in. But the thing that you need to know is you'll put in a parent access code, you'll put your email in, it's very simple and it's very quick. Then you'll be connected to your student and be able to get in to see what I'm seeing here. If you do have additional children, you'll get another access code for them. And when you're logged in as a parent, you can click add child, add that child's parent access code, and then you'll have access to both or multiple students. So again, I think the first step is getting connected with your school, making sure you are connected with your school, then getting connected with your teacher, getting your parent access code, and then signing up for an account as a parent, and then starting to explore Schoology once you can log in. All right, so that's as far as Schoology goes, that's sort of it in a nutshell. The two websites that will give you some of the most information for that are the MNPS Back to School page, which I'm showing here. And there's a lot of links here. There is a Schoology link right up at the top on the mnps.org/back to school page. And also the other page that we want to share is the mnps.org/digital tools page. Now, this page is all about technology. So Schoology, Flipgrid, Clever, devices, etc. And at the bottom of this page, there are 2 parent videos. And this video is basically showing exactly what I just modeled for you guys. So good luck. Hopefully you'll be able to get in. Be sure to contact your school and let us know in the Q&A if you need more help.
Thank you very much. All right, you guys hear me? Thank you so much, Jason. So on to the family portal of Infinite Campus. First off, if you don't have an account for the family portal, you need one. So that's the first step. And the way to set this up is easy. So I think everybody in this technology world believes that technology is great, and more so, everybody thinks technology is great when it is easy. The family portal falls into that category. So how do I get my parent portal account set up? The very first thing you need is your activity key. You can obtain your activity key a couple different ways. You can call your school or the Family Information Center. And you can see that listed here at 615-259-4636. And if you prefer to email them, you can do that as well. You just need to be prepared to verify your identity. So I'm going to cover just a couple things about the parent portal. And if you guys have any questions, you guys just type those in the comments and we will get those answered at the end of this session. The first thing you need to do is visit the campus parent portal page, and you can do that at familyportal.mnps.org. Once you get to that login page, and I guess I could go ahead and click on that. Will that link open up if I click on that link? Or do we want to open that up? I'm sorry, guys. That will take you to a page where you can either select campus parent or campus student. So as a parent, you'll select campus parent and click on new user. You'll then take that activity code that you got from your school or the Family Information Center to set up your account. And that is really it. On the next slide, we'll show a little bit about what the actual interface looks like. But this is a great place, as Jason mentioned, where you can view your student schedule. You can see their attendance record currently, and there is a spot for grades. However, the grades that are listed in the family portal currently are just the final grades. So stay tuned for that. So now you're looking at the parent portal look, and this is the desktop version. So on the left-hand navigation, you can see the red box shows the attendance and the schedule tabs. So if you're wondering what the order of classes is for your student, the schedule is a great spot to go. And then in the upper right-hand corner of the slide, you can see I've got a red box around the students that's currently shown. So you parents that have multiple students, you can choose the little drop down in the upper right-hand corner and flip back and forth between the different students that you might have within MNPS. Also, that red box shows that profile icon, which is the place you'll go to update all of your information in the settings. I can't stress enough how important it is for your information to be up to date, including emails, phone numbers, which language you prefer. There's lots and lots of choices to update in the settings, including notifications that you might want to get alerts on when attendance is changed, or grades have changed, for example. Downloading the app is the last thing I want to talk about, which I think everybody has a smartphone these days and quick access to the campus parent portal. So if you'll just open up that app store and type in Infinite Campus or Campus Parent, you will see that app available to download. And before we leave, the last thing I want to point out is that at mmps.org/family portal, that is your main hub for accessing all the videos and information about the family portal specifically. And then if you've got your pen and paper written down, I just want to give you one quick little URL, bit.ly/MMPS Campus Parent. There's a 3-minute video there that will walk you through the simple steps of creating your parent account. So if you didn't have a pen, but you have one now, let me say that again, bit.ly/MNPS Campus Parent. That's a great video. It's just 3 minutes long. It'll show you exactly what you need to do to set up your Campus Parent Portal account. And just remember, the first thing you need to do is get that activity code. And you can do that by calling the Family Information Center or emailing them at familyinfo@mmps.org. All right. Thank you very much. And remember to write your question down in the chat.
Okay, so, again, while we shared a couple web pages earlier, and when it comes to technology, part of the equation in this particular situation is making sure you have your access to technology and you can get some of those technology questions answered. I'm also noticing a lot of questions coming in, the published questions in the Q&A section, and we'll definitely address some of those during the Q&A, so great questions. We're going to share several links now, and that's basically, how do I get technology help? The first is the website that I shared earlier. Go, you guys, for the most up-to-date information, get to the mmps.org, the digital tools page. That has it has not only the software information, but some of the device and student password information, which has been another hurdle for families. So please make sure you get there. There have been really good turnaround times for getting devices and then also getting your student information correct or getting that working so students can log in. But please check that out. You can also, as another option, if you have hardware, internet, or password issues, you can call the help desk at 615-269-5956. And that's one other way you can try to just call in. For online support, you can actually go to www.mmps.org/tech-support. If you go to this website and you fill out the tech support request form, that sounds like a mouthful, but one of the really cool things here is a representative will pick that up and they'll actually call you back. So we've had a lot of people calling in for help, so we're trying to provide a number of avenues for families and for students, especially to be able to get in and get some help. To reset your student email password, you can just send an email to student.pwresets@mmps.org, and you just have to include a few details: the first name of the student, last name, the student ID number, and the school name. So again, I think, we were talking about what information could help families the most. Number one, go to your school, make a contact, get your information updated in Infinite Campus. That's going to get you into the school, and then you'll be able to get some of that information that'll help you get into Schoology where the teaching and learning is. So lots of ways to get help. We're here to support. Please continue to ask in the Q&A. And again, as an MMPS parent, we're all still learning. So, let us know if you need help.
So we've been talking a lot about technology and technology supports and asking you to think of questions you may have. Now let's talk about some additional information and support to help your child be successful. First, we're going to talk about attendance. During this unusual time, You may wonder if attendance is required, and the answer is yes. Tennessee has a mandatory attendance law, and students 6 through 17 are required to attend. We're frequently asked the question, how attendance will be recorded for students during remote learning. Students must log in to the distance learning platform each instructional day and actively engage in learning opportunities to be counted present for the day. And those activity engagements would include submitting assignments, completing assessments, participating in online class discussions, interacting with teachers. To accommodate the asynchronous learning, meaning any learning opportunities other than live class sessions, students have until 11:59 p.m. each day to log on and engage in those learning opportunities. And remember, pre-K students log into Flipgrid, and kindergarten through 12th grade students log into Schoology. You can check your child's attendance by setting up the parent portal account, which we talked about earlier. You can get notifications when your child is marked absent. Due to the processing time, though, during virtual learning, attendance records will log 2 days behind on the parent portal and the student portal. If your child is sick and cannot participate in remote learning, attendance will be coded as an excused absence, and they will be provided the opportunity to make up the work they missed when they return. You will need to submit excuse notes, just like we always have, to the school within 3 days of the absence. Contact your child's school to ask how to submit excuse notes.
Good evening, parents. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about behavior supports and how you can access those behavior supports. We know and realize that this has been a difficult and challenging time for all of us, and we're in new and uncharted territories with the COVID virus. But I want to let you know that a lot of time and consideration has gone into developing our virtual behavior support guidelines. And so to access that, what you would need to do is simply 3 steps. That would be go to mnps.org. Next, you would select Virtual Learning Parent Playbook. And then finally, you will choose the behavior support option. On this website, you will be able to see there are many icons that go along with the content area. And so in this case, you will see an icon for behavior supports. Next, I just want to talk to you a little bit about some of the things that you could talk to your student, your scholar about to help them have a better online experience as they work alongside their peers and work with their teacher. So the first tip, talk with your student about being polite and respectful to others online. We want to make sure that this learning environment is a safe place for everyone, just as we do in our schools on a day-to-day basis. Next, following the agreed upon rules of the class. And so we want to make sure that the teacher and the students have all taken some time to develop classroom rules and guidelines together, and that all of those are continuously followed. Next, talk to them about thinking about what consequences are for what they post. We know students are students, kids are kids. We were all students and kids at one point ourselves, and we want to have fun sometimes. But also, we know that there's consequences for some of the things that we post. So try to have a conversation with them about making sure that they stay on task with what's asked, and they're not posting anything outside of what's been asked of them. Next, so we want to talk to them about dressing appropriately for virtual interactions. Again, we know this is a time where students are at home and, they wake up and courses and classes are early in the morning, and we want them to dress appropriately for being on screen. As Jason mentioned earlier, some of these classes are live classes and they will be in classes with their peers. So we just want to make sure that students are dressing appropriately for the virtual interactions and it's not disruptive or distracting to the learning. And finally, let your student know that you'll be supporting them by checking to see if they need any help with their work. I know that many of you are doing your best as being a parent, but then also taking the role as a teacher now. And so a good practice is just letting them know that you're there for them, that you're supporting them, and just continue to encourage them to do their best. Thank you.
All right, thank you all for that valuable information. Families, at the beginning of our time, we asked you to provide questions, and you have done a wonderful job of helping us understand what are the areas that we need to provide more information. We know that we may have answered many of the questions through these presentations, but at this time, I invite our moderators to help us identify what questions still need to be answered.
There are numerous questions, many with a common theme. I do know if our moderators have seen questions on there in some of the languages, I hope they can address those. But some of the questions included basically how are parents confirming for attendance? If attendance is in Schoology, and I apologize if this was answered, I was following the questions and answer box. Where our parents are actually checking if their child's attendance is correct and if they were logged in.
Great. We'll have someone from our panel, if you'll unmute yourself and please speak to where families can find information on attendance.
I don't know if Lynn wants to answer this, but this is Brad. In the family portal, the attendance tab does show the attendance. Just as Lynn noted, it will be delayed 2 days. So if your student is marked absent for the 18th, for example, it won't show up till 2 days later. Hope that helps.
Thank you. Yes, it does. Brad, or someone else, if they can answer this question, how can a parent know when the child has submitted their assignments? That's another theme. Or have completed tests or quizzes or commented on their discussions. It just shows that it's upcoming and they want to confirm that it's being completed.
I'll take that one. We're going to go ahead and share my screen now. Let me go ahead and share my desktop. That's a great question. And again, we're going to model a few things that may help you guys. There really are lots of ways. I would say the number one thing that I would tell you is that as teachers are new to this as well, they're really figuring out different ways to be able to communicate with students and parents. So we're all learning this together. But one thing I will say is, number one, that message, send a message to the teacher, contact the teacher if you're having any questions, and just ask for additional explanation, because that's one of the things that can definitely help break the barrier right away. So you can use that Schoology messaging system. There is a little message area here, and you can start new messages here and send messages. But there's one thing that I really want to show you that I don't think a lot of parents know about who are actually in Schoology. And if I'm in, here I am I'm in my parent role, and one of the things that I can do is I want to go in and I actually want to look at my student role. So as a parent, you click on your student, and this is really, really useful. So once you've clicked on your student, arrow is selected for your student, and you're kind of looking at Schoology as them, then if you'll go to settings under their picture, and both you and your student have really granular, lots of different options for how you get notified for things that happen in Schoology. Now, there's some things that we can't help. Some grade levels are set up so they have a lot of classes, and sometimes you really can't help but have to look at several classes. But here's a really cool tip, and that is go in again, get to your student, make sure your student's selected, and then click on settings. It's going to bring you to this area. Now there's an account settings tab, but there's also a notifications tab. For this student, I want parent information on this. Okay, I want an email summary Okay, I want an email sent to me, and right now it's set up for weekly, but I'm going to change that because I want a little more frequent communication to daily. I'm going to set the time, and also there's an overdue submissions email. So if the teacher is putting a due date on an assignment or an assessment, then you will get an email notification if something is overdue. So again, some of that is contingent on teachers putting in due dates and things like that. Again, the number one line of defense is communication. It's talking to the teacher, communicating, whether it's through phone, through the school, or through Schoology. If you can start to leverage the communication tools in Schoology, you're going to get more information as everyone grows into this platform. So this, if I hit Save Changes, I'm going to get a daily email that's going to sort of give me just a report on what my students been doing, if they've submitted things, if something's been graded. It's kind of nice. The other thing, I'm going to go back to the parent side here, and I'm going back to my parent account, not looking at it from the student perspective. If I click on settings when I'm logged in as a parent, I have a whole bunch of settings in here too. They're also, and again, I'm sure probably some in the audience are like, make your screen bigger. I'm so sorry if you've been struggling with that. I'm going to click on this notifications tab, and you can see it says Schoology sends you notifications when actions occur that involve you, and you can pick and choose what how you want these sent. Right now, you can also see send notifications to your phone via text message. Again, there are standard messaging rates. You can click on this to learn more. But what I love about this is all of the options I get. So right now as a parent, I'm going to get an email if a course update's posted. If I want that, that's fine. But you can come in and turn these on and off. So it's really, really useful in terms of looking at if you get a private message. I might want, and right now I've have my email turned on. So if I get a message in Schoology, I'm going to get an email to whatever email I use to create my parent account. So definitely leverage some of those communication tools. We can't reiterate enough getting the correct information into Infinite Campus so your teacher can contact you and the school can contact you, but also making sure you start to take advantage of some of these communication tools with your teachers.
Wonderful. Thanks, Jason. Moderators, what other questions?
There are several questions in the chat that are themed with offering workshops to parents at a reasonable hour so that they can learn how to access and how to use these tools to support their family, to support their students. And they were wanting to know, one, how soon that can happen, and when can they get access to those trainings?
I'm going to go ahead and jump in and at least say one thing. This particular live event, again, thank you so much for attending and coming to listen and learn more about the information we're hoping to get out to parents and families. This is just part of really a series, right? Like, we are doing this to gauge what you need. And so there will be continued outreach through live events. We do have some planning in the works in terms of providing additional supports, and part of our information gathering from this live event is to help us formulate additional sessions that can support you and your students. So love the questions, and there's some really good ones in here, so keep them coming.
In the meantime, if you are struggling to sign on to Schoology or to understand Schoology, please check out the MMPS Back to School website. There are video tutorials and very simple videos that you can follow along to make sure that your student is able to access and get on to school. Great. Other questions?
Another theme that has emerged is, what do they do if their child's computers are not working and that their students are being kicked out of the learning platforms? Any tips or suggestions so that their students can stay on?
Definitely. I'll go ahead and chime in on that one. And we can move to just past the platform slides, the where to get help. We provided that earlier, but I'll go ahead and bring that up one more time. So number one, it's really hard to learn virtually if you can't get in. We feel your pain, definitely. So the district is working very hard to make sure that the technology that's been given works and that you can get the support you need when it doesn't work. And so if you are having issues or challenges, again, some of these steps may help. Going back to the digital tools page, that's what Mariana mentioned, the back to school page. This digital tools page is also a great place for you and your students. But really, for in time, I need help right away, you can call the help desk again. This PowerPoint's being made available to you guys, 615-269-5956. This is any sort of computer issue. Well, I'm going to talk about a couple tips that may help you in the meantime, but I just want to make sure you know this information one more time. Also, there's this, this web page leads you to our tech support request form. So let's say you call the number and it's busy, or you want to additionally try to get some support. If you fill this form out, you will receive a call back from MNPS Technology Services to help get support and help you with that. Passwords, this is the reset email for passwords again. I think the big thing is that Teams is the Teams call. We're in a Teams live event, and teachers and students are using Microsoft Teams to connect. That's their class meeting time, and it does take up some resources on the computer. So a few simple things you can do are to go ahead, log out of Teams, have the student log out of Teams if they're logged in, close it down, log back in. If it's really, really continuing, I would definitely restart my computer. And a couple of other things are just making sure that students don't have additional programs open on the computer, because these programs do take memory. They do take a computer's energy basically to run. So if you're continually having that problem and you just can't get into class, though, that's unacceptable. So we want to make sure that you get to the support, follow these steps, and make sure that you get help, get a help ticket in, and we'll make sure that we can check that out for you.
Mariana, we have a few more questions for the panel.
Great.
A common theme is printing, that some expectations are for students to print either study guides, periodic table, and parents don't have access to that. What is the district's expectation of having that printed materials? Is that a question they should bring to their school's teacher and ask for the accommodations to be made?
Yes. That is absolutely something to discuss with your school or your teacher, but also do check with your school and teacher to see if there is a packet available. MNPS has provided student packets with much of the content from Florida Virtual School so that families have those printed resources available. So always best practice, connect with the teacher, connect with the school, and ask about that layer of support.
Yeah,
thank you.
I want to second that. Go ahead. Yeah, I was going to say I want to second that with Mariana. And again, you know, we've received some questions about if they can't print. A lot of times, what students have been doing, the document may be in their Schoology course, maybe like small in the class or something like that. So there are ways. I would suggest opening another window in your browser and opening that up in another way, or double clicking. You can download a lot of these and open them up and have them on the side. Now, one of the challenges of learning online is dealing with some of the navigation issues. And one of the things we've been working with teachers is trying to make sure that they can create an environment that's easy to navigate for both students and families. So everyone, again, is learning. We're really seeing some cool things happen in classrooms. So, you know, keep it up, keep bringing the questions, and definitely, I think, going back to the theme that we keep saying, make a connection to your school, make a connection to your teacher. It's so important.
And I apologize if this was addressed within your guys' presentation, but it's a repeated question asking for attendance. Do you have to just log into Schoology once a day, or do you have to log into all your courses in Schoology for attendance?
That's a very good question. You don't have to log into each individual course, so you don't have to log out, log back in all during the day. You log into Schoology and then you do the work you need to do at the time. There has been another question about if I just stay logged in, will I be counted present every day? Our monitoring system is not only looking for login, it's looking for participation and keeps track of that. Did that answer your question? The question?
I believe it did.
Yeah, so, yeah, any interaction is going to give them that, you know, we really are able to see every click and every interaction, so that will give them that attendance.
Other themes and questions?
There are some questions here about the curriculum, and one of them being, and some of them are specific to the curriculum. Is there a resource they can go to find out more support on because some of the questions include opening tabs, the PE curriculum in specifics. Is there a good place to guide them for that curriculum?
I'll go ahead and jump in. As far as Schoology goes and the Florida virtual curriculum, which I think everyone's referring to, teachers have been given access to a lot of materials, and then they're making some of those things available to students and families. And part of the challenge I think students and families have had is not only learning Schoology, but they're also learning about this other website that has all of their teaching materials on it. So, you know, for instance, my daughter, 4th grade, she's doing her English, and she goes into her Schoology class, and then there's a link that she clicks, and it opens another website where there is all of sort of like the textbook that she would normally get, that she'd be given in the classroom, right? So some of that is in navigating that, and a lot of times that textbook, when you click on the link in a Schoology course, it actually opens up in a new tab a lot of times. So you definitely, there are some parent help materials, and I do want to say that there is a Florida virtual school lead teacher in every building that is working to support teachers. So teachers are getting some additional support with that as well. Please, again, I think the theme is make sure you contact your school, make sure you reach out to your teacher so you can ask that question specifically, because different teachers are using the curriculum in some different ways.
Wonderful. I think we have time for one more theme or question.
There's a theme here as far as breakout rooms. Several questions have been asked about, does team have breakout rooms? And if team does not, can teachers use paid other LMS or other platforms such as Zoom to interact with their students?
I'll go ahead and take that one. So Teams is the supported video conferencing tool for the district, and there are a couple reasons for it. Teams, we do have a data use agreement with Microsoft to protect our student data, which is one of the most key elements to why we are a Microsoft district. So a lot of people in the spring, a lot of different teachers were doing different things. And so again, the message from the district is we definitely support using Teams for those calls. Now, Teams, just like Zoom, is going through lots of updates. Everyone wants to do cool breakout rooms. Everyone wants to have really cool features for teachers and students to use together. And in fact, even in the last week, our Teams platform has received a massive update so that teachers can see up to 49 students at once and also have a large gallery view, which is really exciting. And we've had a lot of good feedback from teachers who have started to use that new experience. Breakout rooms is a feature that's coming very soon to Microsoft Teams. So we know that that's something that people want. And to be honest, as a teacher, I absolutely want to use breakout rooms. So as soon as breakout rooms hits the Microsoft platform, we're actually fortunate because we're one of their big districts. So we are going to be receiving that quite soon. So we'll publish that information as soon as it's available. And we're so excited for teachers to have that. Now, we have provided some professional learning for teachers and coaches to help them navigate that and give some other options, not other platforms, but for instance, they could use a Schoology discussion as a breakout area. They can use some of the other tools that we have in the district. They could use Flipgrid as an additional breakout area. So teachers have done some really creative things, but know that breakout rooms are right around the corner.
Wonderful. As we close our question and answer portion, I did notice a theme regarding students with disabilities or students who need additional supports. We do want to make sure that we emphasize, families, please be in touch with your child's school and your child's teacher. We are wanting to make sure that your children are receiving the supports and services they need to be successful in this virtual learning. If you have not heard, we are creating individualized plans called CLIPs for each child, and we need parent input, we need family input to make sure that the plans we are developing also include the things that you know about your child and the ways that we can best support them. So please be in touch if your family and your child require that additional support. Reach out to the school and ask to contribute to your child's CLIP. All right, we have come to the end of our time together this evening, and we want to have some good closure. So in the chat box, please write either an answer to either one of these questions, either an L for what is the one thing that you learned tonight, what is one thing that you want to highlight that you learned, just type in an L and then start your sentence, or a Q for what is one question that you still have. As Jason mentioned, we'll continue to provide information for families, and so let us know if you still have questions. So back in your chat box, ask a question. You'll either write L and something that you learned, or Q and something that you are still having a question about. Wonderful. As you do that, I also want to draw your attention that we are asking for your help. We're in this together. We hope that tonight we've provided some support and assistance to you, but we need your help. You're connected to MMPS families, whether they are your neighbors, your friends, or your family members. Please help them also know this information. Help them to get connected with us. One great opportunity is on social media. MMPS Facebook is an excellent page to follow where we put out regular information for families. Also, our website, www.mmps.org, is another great way to access information. We know that we've provided a lot of resources for you to get access for technical support or support with virtual learning. We also are going to be adding to the chat an email address that you can email if your family or student needs support with social, emotional, or physical needs. That email is familysupport@mmps.org. So as we wrap up, I'm going to ask our moderators to share out just a few of the comments that families posted on things that were learned tonight.
Some of the ones learned tonight were the parent portal, how to navigate Schoology, where the recorded classes store on, and the questions include, again, Schoology, parent portal. So we did answer some questions, but I recognize it's still a confusing time.
Absolutely. Families, thank you for connecting with us. Please continue to connect. Please continue to reach out. Our goal is to be good partners during this time. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we look forward to connecting again soon. Have a great evening.